Welcome back to the 8th concession. My name is Natalie. The summer is flying by. It's always a little bit depressing, isn't it? I wait so long for the warm weather and then it just goes so quickly. I can't believe we're coming to the end of July already and it's time for a garden tour. I want to show you what has changed in the garden because there have been big changes. So let's get started. I thought I'd start over here at the orchard. There's not a lot going on, but what is going on is exciting. Look at the peach tree. There are peaches everywhere. I cannot wait to try them. Now you can see that we've propped up this bottom branch. It's so heavy with fruit. We just thought it needed a little extra support. But the fruit is looking wonderful. It's not huge, but it's already turning color a little bit. I am very excited to try it. The other trees are doing well, although the cherry trees only had a couple of cherries on them each. The apple trees did not put on any, the new apple trees I should say, but I have to show you the old apple tree. It is covered with apples. They are good eating apples. They're great for cider, and the chickens will get to enjoy them too. Over here at the berry bushes, you have to excuse my waving, the deer flies are out. If it's not mosquitoes, it's deer flies, but the deer flies are relentless. They are not my favorite. But despite the deer flies, the berries are doing great. In fact, we've been eating them already. I already have containers full of raspberries in my fridge, but I can see that I have a lot more to pick. In amongst the raspberries are these tall plants here. These are Jerusalem artichokes. Now you can eat the tubers. I hear there's something like a potato. I haven't ever tried the tubers, the roots, but I let them grow. I saw them coming up through the raspberries. I let them go because they're related to sunflowers and they actually look really pretty in the fall when everything else dies back. So while I should be pulling them all, it will make a very pretty display come September. But hidden in amongst them are more raspberries. The perennial sweet peas are blooming. The plant itself looks a bit spiky, although it's not. But I have to say, I love the flowers. They look like little orchids, and they have such pretty colors. Everything from like a light pink to a deep pink. They really are nice. And beyond them are the blackberries. Now, we haven't started eating them yet. I don't think it'll be long, and boy, oh boy, will we be eating blackberries. Isn't that incredible? I don't know what I'm going to do with them all. Before I asked you for peach recipes, seriously, I need more than that. I need blackberry recipes. This was originally only 3 plants. But they are covered. It's very exciting. And you can see lots of new growth for next year. Raspberries fruit on second-year canes, so all the canes you see that have no fruit on them, those will be bearing the fruit next year. And here is the main vegetable garden. I decided to do the garden tour today, mainly because we have rain slated for tomorrow again. Even down here you can see the mosquitoes down here are the worst. We've had so much rain. This really has been one of the wettest summers I can remember in a long time. And it hasn't been that hot, although this week we've got good temperatures up to about 30 Celsius. But the garden is growing well, but it's hard to get down here when you get eaten alive when everything is sort of soggy and humid. But let's see how the garden likes the weather. Here is bed number 1. It looks a little bit jungly back here, doesn't it? But let's take a closer look. So the parsley has gone to seed, but it's not ready yet to pick. And underneath, it's actually hiding the dill. Let me see if I can move this out of the way. You can see the dill down there. There's some bigger ones that have bloomed. But that's fine that they're not ready because neither are the cucumbers. This is the birdhouse gourd. And as usual, it's going crazy. But it's nice to see it climbing up and over the trellis. At the front of the trellis, that you'll see at the front of every one of the trellises, are the scarlet runner beans. And they're reaching up and touching at the top. Such pretty flowers. The pollinators love them. And the beans are tasty too. I've removed all the garlic that you saw in another video. So what's left are the peppers, which are doing fantastic this year. Actually, this was the worst year to do the Oya watering system experiment because they actually haven't needed any supplemental water. It's raining every other day, and you can see by the plants how well they're doing. They're happy. These are jalapeno. I think I saw some. Oh yes, that plant has some down there. I wonder if I can get them. And there's more in there. So they're setting fruit. They're doing great. These right here are the bell peppers. They've got flowers. Not too much pepper production yet. And behind them are the Hungarian hot wax, and you can see there's lots of them. So they're doing great. And at the back here are the royal black peppers. They're gorgeous plants, and they get these lovely purple flowers. You can see that. And they have, oh, I've already got a bunch. Look at that. Black peppers that will ripen to red. They're nice and hot, but Craig and the boys love them in salsa, so they're doing well. And then, of course, back here, something that has changed maybe the most from the last garden tour are the zucchini. They're massive. You just gotta love the size of those leaves. Now, it looks like one of them died. Actually, I think 2 of them died, but I still have 4. 2 yellow and 2 of the Romanesco striped. Now, this one here, you can see, is a yellow. We haven't harvested any yet, unfortunately, but we do have some coming. So there's some yellow. Let's see what we've got back here. Back in here, you can see a Romanesco one coming. That can be eaten anytime, I think. So down in here, you can see, if I can get it to focus, you can see that there's another yellow one starting. And then this plant here is another Romanesco. So it looks like we are going to get some zucchini eventually. Actually, that Romanesco there, I think that's going to be ready in a day or 2 just for some nice frying up with some butter. This monstrosity is the tomato bed. Now the tomatoes, they're doing fine. Oh, there's another friend. Hello, Snaky. They're doing fine, but there's not a lot of tomato production going on yet. You can see there's, I'll zoom in, you can see there's a lot of yellow flowers. So they're behind. They're way behind. But I think they're still going to do okay. Here's the tidy treat, nice and neat on the corner. And the Matt's cherry tomato that I bought heirloom seed for. I haven't had any of the tomatoes yet to try them, but the one thing I don't like is its sort of spreading habit. The Tidy Treat remains very nice and compact. This is spreading everywhere and spreading down and over the sides. So it gets quite large. It needs more support than what I gave it. And back here you can see again lots and lots of yellow blooms. And here we do have some of the Cup of Moldova sauce tomatoes starting to form. So that's good. But the Peron sprayless slicers, I don't see any tomatoes yet, just flowers. So they are really behind. I just hope they have enough time. Oh, prove me wrong. There's a little one right there. You can see the corn here fighting for space with the weeds, and they look a bit, well, you can even see there's yellow on the leaves, and I think that's just from too much rain. It's rained so much, this ground is soggy, and I think the corn would like it a little drier. It is growing well, and I think I have enough rows that it should pollinate correctly. But I have seen healthier corn than this, and it doesn't look great. In amongst all the weeds, you can barely see it. And then on the inside of bed number 1, away from the dill, you can see the loofah is growing, but I don't know that it's going to have enough time. Bed number 2 is looking good. Again, the scarlet runner beans at the front. And this loofah is definitely doing better. It's climbed all the way up to there. And if you remember me saying about how I planted one of the started plants, which kind of shocked, and then I planted some seeds just under a cloche, this tall plant is the seed. The one from the cloches beside it is about half as large. And then another birdhouse gourd. Here are the onions. Some I started from seed, and about 25 of this back row here were from sets. They are the Dutch onions, and they're starting to fall over, which is fine. I'm going to be able to harvest them soon, but I want you to just have a look. Just have a look at these bulbs. Aren't they fantastic? The onions look great. Behind it we have our beets. Now I didn't plan on planting them this close. I thought I was just putting one seed in and spacing them apart, but they've grown quite close together, which is okay because I actually like pickled beets when they're the really small beets, little round ones. Better than having to cut up the bigger ones. See how they're doing. You can see in there we do have some little bulbs coming. Little beets. Those are actually probably big enough. So I think in a week or two, I'll check them to see if a lot of them are that size. And that will make some really sweet, lovely baby beets. Baby pickled beets. On this side of bed number 2, you can see the lettuce is going to seed. It is just starting to get the yellow flowers. So this is the butter crunch. The butter crunch that survived the winter. So I definitely want to keep some more of those seeds. I have more plants than I need going to seed, I think. So I might actually pull this one and feed it to the turkeys or the chickens. I have some eating butter crunch coming here, and I have already been picking some of the green salad bowl lettuce back there. Looks like it's ready for another harvest for some fresh salad. It's a good thing I'm doing this garden tour today because this bed needs to be harvested Right in the front here with these globe flowers are the onions that I had sprouting in my basement that I planted purposely for seed. And they've done just that. They have formed these big flowers. They've been pollinated. Oh, you can see there's a moth on there, but there have been bees and all kinds of flying critters pollinating them, so I'm expecting a good crop of seeds from them. Down the side here are the leeks I grew from seed, and they are ready to be harvested. So I can't delay. Actually, this is not a leek. This is these rotten reeds. Okay, the rest are leeks. Let's have a look at them. Nice thick stalks. So I'm going to process them this week coming. And in here, the cabbage also needs to be harvested. They have lovely heads. So I need to make some cabbage rolls, and we'll have rice and cabbage. I think that recipe I can link below. But they're doing great. No pest damage, but there is a little bit of brown leaf happening here. Oh, and I can see this one has split. You can see down beside there. And that is simply from a sudden onslaught of water. They will take up too much water and they'll split. And as I said, it's been raining so much. I won't be surprised if they're all like that. Doesn't mean there's anything wrong with eating them. It will be harder for cabbage rolls because the leaves will be split, but I think some of the other cabbage will fill in. The scarlet runner beans on this trellis are just so lovely. Here are some zinnia seeds that I planted. No flowers yet, but as I said, everything is so late. Now, the last garden tour we did, the cucumber plants looked pretty pathetic, I have to say. But look at it now. It's still behind where it should be, I think, for our growing. 5B is our garden zone here in southern Ontario. They're behind, but hey, I see pickles. So, we will get a crop of pickles. These have all come quite nicely over here. And this heat certainly will help them take off. Beside it are the sweet peas that I planted. You can see these have fallen over and have kind of turned brown. And when I show you bed 4, you'll see those are still very green. So I don't know what happened to these. I've had a couple of harvests. We've had some delicious fresh peas with dinner. I've frozen some of them as snow peas as well. Just gonna leave these to completely ripen and go to seed and save these as my seeds. So I don't know why he's falling over. And the celery is looking great. That'll be great in my freezer for soups. These are the 4 potatoes I did not harvest on that first harvest day. I can see they're starting to finish a bit more, but I'm going to leave them even a bit longer. Let those potatoes get bigger. We did have the last batch as potato salad, and they were amazing. So I want to make these, give them time to become as big as possible. Okay, and finally bed number 4 with the runner beans. Now the cucumbers on this side, not nearly as large. Look, they're only that high. I still have lots of hope though that they'll grow enough to set fruit. You can see I've got some nice beans here to pick. And here are the peas on this side. Look, they're not brown. They're going right to the top, so I don't know what the difference is. I harvested some yesterday, but I can see there's some more snow peas I can pick and lots of flowers. So I think there's lots of peas to come. And it's happy climbing up the trellis here. Some more celery on the edge here. Again, just doing fantastic. And here are the 2 makeshift teepees I did the other day when I realized my Polish white beans were runners, were climbers. And they've held up quite well. You can see the beans are happily climbing up and setting flowers. Now, I haven't got any beans on these yet, but it won't be long because they're flowering all over the place. And back here is the other thing that you'll notice is really different. And this is where I put the pumpkins. Holy mackerel. So in the front here, well, actually I can't even tell what's what anymore, but the blue pumpkins I mentioned, which we found out were giant pumpkins, not because the pumpkins were giant, but because the plant is giant. That's these leaves right here. I know this is the blue pumpkin, and it's kind of going that way and around the corner. And there is a blue pumpkin right here. Looks like a squash, but it's not. It's a blue pumpkin. I don't know what's going on in there, what I might find. It's like a jungle. But obviously the pumpkins are happy and vining. You have to watch where you step here. Let me go around the back here a bit. Oh, you can see all the jewelweed. A native plant here. So pretty. And, oh, I can see back there. There's another blue pumpkin because it's escaping out the back here as well. It's a jungle. It's a jungle of pumpkins. And on the other side, we have the leeks that I bought as starts from the store, which I think also can be harvested. They're looking pretty good. Behind that, I have the sage that I grew from seed. I'm going to dehydrate that this week as well. I have a lot to do this week. And there are my just for fun watermelons, which are actually growing. There's even a little flower there. Who knows? Maybe we'll get a baby watermelon with a few carrots behind there just to fill in the space. And the rest of the beans, the kidney beans are on this side. They're doing well. Oh, I can see a little one right there. So they're starting to form the bean pods. Some celery getting hidden in all the green back here. And then, of course, the pumpkins. The pumpkins have escaped out this side as well. I can't even, oh, look at that one back there. It's making a run for the fence. I think it's probably through the fence and heading out into just the field beyond. The pumpkins make me laugh. Hopefully we'll have enough for our family pumpkin carving contest this year. They were slow to start. They're not doing well in the ground, but they're quite happy in the raised bed here. So we'll have to see what we find under that mess of leaves. The strawberries gave us a few, but they need to be weeded. Oh my goodness. I wanted to build fruit cages around them this year and put edging. I just didn't get to it. So I've got some runners escaping out here that I want to actually plant. I'm actually going to cut them, plant them in pots, and then I can plant them out next year. By the gate we have some cosmos. They're a little late in coming like everything else, but at least there's some pretty color there. And on this side we have some morning glory. Again, very late, but hey, better late than never. And here are the blueberry bushes. We did get a bunch of blueberries off this bush. They are super sweet. They were lovely. The only thing is the leaves are very yellowy red, so I think I have to check the acidity of the soil here, maybe add some peat moss, and I think I have some pellets actually, so I do need to have a look at these. Although they did give us lovely fruit, I want to make sure we keep them healthy. And then lastly, we have this little garden behind the red door. You can see the beautiful wood lilies here. These are native. These were on the property when we got here. They're similar to tiger lilies, but have that sort of maroon edging. here are some of the spare tomatoes I just plunked in the ground here. But they're doing fine. We'll get some extra tomatoes off of them. And a patch of oregano right there. Those are 4 o'clocks. I planted some seed in the ground. They're such a pretty, vibrant flower. Oh, there's a dahlia here as well. I think it's right here. And there's another dahlia right there. They haven't bloomed. The garlic chives are going to flower. The onion chives have flowered. And over here we have some more of the spare tomatoes, just filling up the space. And then these, my echinacea. Aren't they pretty? I'm doubly proud because I grew these from seed. They didn't bloom last year, but they've certainly bloomed this year. Gosh, they're nice. I like them a lot. And last but not least, I have a couple of tomatoes I threw in pots here up by the house because, again, I had extra. This is actually a tidy treat that I put in, and look what we have in here. Delicious, ripe cherry tomatoes. Now these first couple I'm actually going to save. I'm going to let them really ripen. I want to save the seeds. I know this is a hybrid, and the plant that I grow from the seeds probably won't come true to type, but I'd like to see because I love how compact this plant is. Now, the reason I want to take those particular tomatoes is because I noticed when that stem flowered, there were no other, see there's another tomato plant here, but it was not blooming, so it couldn't cross-pollinate. So if I take the very first cherry tomatoes, I know that they are at least are not cross-pollinated. But again, as a hybrid, may not come true to type, but we're going to give it a whirl. Look at all these tomatoes that are coming. It is going to be loaded. And this one is just a Matt's cherry tomato that I had left over. And some calla lilies. So there you go, the garden in July. It has changed so much from June, hasn't it? Especially the zucchini and the cucumbers and the pumpkins. Things are coming along. Funny little bit of a year with everything kind of delayed. However, it does look like I'm going to be harvesting some more very soon. The leeks and the cabbages for sure. I'll bring you along for that to let you see how I keep them, and hopefully the peaches soon. Oh, and the blackberries. Send me your favorite blackberry recipes or even blackberry jam recipes. Do you mix it with another fruit? Do you have just blackberries? Do you have a low sugar version? I'm open to all suggestions. Hope your garden is doing well too where you are. Bye for now.